This is basically a hype video to break up with somebody, so do not listen to it unless you're ready to hear that. Otherwise, move along. And if you stay, know that this is coming from my very limited experience, but it's what I would want my past self to hear and what I want my future self to hear. And I hope you enjoy. Disclaimer. You know your relationship best. This is just stuff that I've told myself and that I am going to want to hear in the future, or that my past self would want to hear. So don't leave this and break up with that person unless you are totally in support of your own decision, knowing the whole dynamic and history, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm on my couch today, and there seems to be a forest getting cut down outside my apartment, but I don't want to wait to tell you this stuff. So if I met somebody who needed to leave a relationship, that knew it deep inside they needed to leave, this is what I would tell them. And this includes my past self and my future self, and future partner, to be honest. Because if you know deep down that this is not your person and you've given it your all, you've given them probably many chances within the relationship to be your person for life or for the next few years or whatever, the nicest thing that you can do for your partner is to break up with them. And that includes, if you're dating me, please break up with me if you know that I'm not the one. Stop wasting my time. No, but seriously, the nicest thing you can do is to break up with somebody if you know that they are not the one for you, no matter how long you've been dating. Remember that you have so much life to live, and you deserve to be with somebody that makes you happy and that wants to be as committed to you and the health of the relationship and the same level of commitment that you want, and as excited about it as you. So even for myself, I'm single and dating, and I deserve to be with somebody who's as excited about me to see me and wants to see me once or twice a week or something like that if I want to too. And then in a few weeks or a month or two, commit to being in a relationship, And this also goes to are you both wanting to get married on the same general timeline and taking steps towards that? If you want to get married and have kids in the next few years and they say that they do, but they're not making moves towards it at all, then you deserve someone who wants to do the things that you want to do and live your ideal life with you. So life is super long, and you'll be okay after this person, I swear. Life is also so short, and you only have time. You only get to live this life one time. I like to view life as a game. This is like a video game. You can literally do anything you want. Anything you dream of, you can do. I also like living my life you know how people, if something super tragic happens or they have a near-death experience, they might live life with this, after they realize, they only have this one life to live. I want you to live that now. Everyone should live life. Well, you can do whatever you want to do, but I want to live life this is the only life that I have, and in such an intentional way, and with such gratitude for this opportunity I've been given. And I don't know, you can play it however you want, but it doesn't have to be this way with this person. Well, whether or not it's with this person, if you're finding yourself with a lot of frustration, disappointment, if it's more bad than good, it does not need to be this way. And this could go for jobs or the city that you're in, or the roommate that you have, or whatever. Just something I've had in my mind the last year or two is it does not need to be this way. So even if you make no moves yet, just remind yourself it does not need to be this way. I've put up with a lot of frustration and disappointment and anxiety and tension in situations with roommates or relationships or even friendships that I didn't need to as long as I did. And it's sometimes hard to remember that there's a way to live without all of that. Like lately, for the most part, since I've been single, like I'm learning what brings that tension up and that frustration and disappointment, and like choosing things that are easier, lighter, energizing, fulfilling, you know? So know that there's a different way to live. And there is a world where you have a super fulfilling, energizing, supportive relationship with somebody who shares your values and your desires for like the kind of relationship that you want and the kind of life that you want to build together. Yeah. And if you know for sure deep down that this is not that person, just admit to yourself that it's not this person. You don't need to make a move yet. But first, be honest with yourself. It's something I like to remind myself before breaking up with somebody, because it seems super... Well, it's probably going to be super hard for both people. Like, and it probably is really good in a lot of ways. And this is your person. It's like you're super comfortable with them. You do like a lot of your life, maybe. But once you know that it's over, and especially if you start looking for, you know, a little bit of validation, or like you start getting interest in like people outside of the relationship, if you're wanting to text somebody you used to hook up with, or like meet up with someone cute that you recently met one-on-one, then for me, when I start feeling that, I'm like, okay, this actually has to end like very soon, because people do cheat, and people also know that this person is not for them, and they will go ahead and move in together anyways. They will get married anyways. They will have kids and have a whole marriage for 30 years and then finally end it, or tell the person like, I knew that this wasn't the one and I went through all this stuff anyway. Like the amount of people I've talked to who knew it wasn't right and went through decades or a decade like after knowing. Like people actually do that. Nobody's gonna like get you out of the situation except for you, you know? And sometimes it helps to remind myself that people actually will feel this feeling and continue down the line with this person still, and it does not have to be that way. And I guess this helps me remember that breaking up with somebody is the nicest thing that you can do in this situation for that person and for yourself. It's like that person deserves to be with somebody who's as excited about them and who like meshes better too. Just like you deserve somebody who's more aligned with you. If your person is not investing as much into the relationship, doesn't want the same core things as you in life, and it's like up to you to decide what your core values are. And this is something I'm working on and trying to like, you learn this a lot through dating, like what's really important and what's not, and you can't have everything. And of course everybody has their own flaws. No relationship is perfect, but if they don't have the core things that are most important to you and they're not able to meet your needs, or like the lifestyle that you want doesn't match theirs, then probably they're not the one. And you can like you are gonna get some of your needs met with other people or things, but I don't know. It's good to reflect on what you do need from a person. But you also don't need to rush the breakup. Like, I think first, like eventually admitting to yourself. And for me, this is something my therapist says, like, think about the percentage of bad to good that it is. And when the bad outweighs the good, then it might be close to time. Especially if you keep on, did I already say this? Like, if you have given them many chances and you're trying to pull them along and you're trying to make this the relationship that you want, and it feels like they're not with you, then you may be on your way out of this relationship, I hope. Okay, I'm trying to think. There's also like the sunk cost fallacy, like, oh, I've already spent 5 years with this person, 3 years with this person, and I'm in my 30s and like I don't want to start over. Okay, well, do you want to be in this for the next many decades and like have a family with this person? Like, if you're unhappy now, I don't see how it's gonna get better, to be honest, in certain situations. Of course, like, disclaimer, you know your relationship best. This is just stuff that I've told myself, and that I am gonna want to hear in the future, or that my past self would want to hear. So don't like leave this and break up with that person unless you are totally in support of your own decision, knowing the whole dynamic and history, blah blah blah, and what you want out of life. But anyway, there's this sunk cost, and basically, like, you're wasting even more time after you know. No need to continue in it longer. And if you do leave, or when you leave something that you know is not good for you, aka also not good for them, then I am so proud of you. Like, to myself, I'm like, you are such a badass. Like, you did the hard thing. You did the thing that you knew you needed to do, even though it was going to hurt to at least 2 people. I promise you that you will be okay. You are... Okay. As I'm single right now, like, I love my life. And I do want to be in a relationship, I think. But not with somebody who is not a partner. And I think it's totally okay to have high expectations for your partner. Like, they say the most important decision ever is who you marry, and like that will affect so many things, like how much it'll affect your finances, it'll affect your mental health, like your day-to-day life. So it's not something to be taken lightly. And this is coming from somebody who's never been married or engaged. But I would still want to hear these things, even if I was like down the line, of just like things to remember when you're in a relationship and you're starting to think like, maybe this isn't for me. Remember, it's the nice thing to do for them. And it doesn't mean it's not going to be super hard, and it could be hard for 6 months or a year after. And it could also take you 6 months or a year after watching this to actually do it, even after you admit that it's not the one for you. And that's totally okay. I think it's still worth it. And there's so much more than a relationship, a romantic relationship in general. And it can be so fun being single too. Like, you learn a lot about yourself. I was really afraid to be alone, even though I had been alone before or single before. But I think anytime you're leaving behind this like foundation of your life, like in a partner who you've been with for a few years or whatever, like, it's hard to believe that you'll be okay without it, but you definitely will. I'm trying to think. You can do this. Let me know if there's, in the comments, if there's anything else that helps you as you're in this weird in-between state, like what you tell yourself, or just questions to think about. Know that this is coming from my limited experience. This is just things that I would like to hear. But I hope that this resonates with somebody and helps you now or in the future. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.